Welcome back, everybody, to the KC Sports Report. I'm your host, Michael Darcy, and today I have the great pleasure to be joined by my guys, Caden Spruill and Kyle Collier, both fellow producers at Sports Radio 810 WHB. And in this video, we're going to talk about some of the positives from the Chiefs' 22-9 win over the Giants. A lot of negativity is coming out of this game, but the Chiefs did do a lot of things well. And so, fellas, I want to get your thoughts on that. Caden, what was your biggest positive from this win?
My biggest positive takeaway from last night's win would be the Chiefs secondary played exceptionally well. And I think, I harped on it a little bit last week whenever we took our positive takeaways. I said the defense, but I kind of want to, specialize the secondary specifically. That being said, I don't think that the defensive line played great, but we'll address that later on. But yeah, the secondary played amazing. I mean, obviously, you look at Malik Neighbors, who was basically held in check all night. I mean, I think I looked up in the third quarter and I was like, man, did I miss an injury? Like, did he pull a hammy or something? Like, he's been quiet all night. I saw Matt Connor. This is from Matt Connor on Twitter. Trey McDuffie, when guarding Malik Neighbors, 1 catch, 4 yards, 6 targets. When you look at an all-pro corner, that's what you want. Whenever you go up against those top guys, that's what you look for out of them. And then Noah Williams also. Noah Williams was very impressive. I think he's a guy that everybody in Chiefs Kingdom was excited about coming into this year. Over the first couple weeks, he didn't get a whole lot of snaps, so we didn't really know what we had in him. Last week, you saw him make a couple physical plays on the ball on Devontae Smith, so we kind of got a glimpse of that, but we got even more of that last night. So I think that's a positive sign for this secondary moving forward, and I'm excited about him. And then Brian Cook played exceptionally well last night as well, and I know Kyle wants to talk about that a little bit, so we'll get into that.
And Kyle, before you get into that, I want to read this tweet off from Matt McMullen. A week after Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson combined for 17 catches for 309 yards and 3 touchdowns versus Dallas, the Chiefs held that duo to just 3 grabs for 39 yards last night. They looked elite. And so I think, Caden, your positive is just, right on point. Like, they were really good against a Giants offense that had some good pieces. But, Kyle, what was your positive from the game?
Yeah, and I agreed on all accounts, Caden. The secondary was great, and seeing Noah Williams snap count rise up there. And Brian Cook is a guy I've been talking about every week we do this on Darcy's channel. But my positive, I'm going to go Josh Simmons. It's been quiet, and you really haven't heard his name mentioned. I know he had one holding penalty last night that a lot of people called arguable. I was fine with the holding call on Simmons there, but other than that, you really didn't hear his name. And that's a really good thing. Now, I want to read this graphic from PFF, from Timo Risky is his name. It's a graphic of pass block win rate, win left on an island. Josh Simmons is in the upper right corner of high success and the amount left on an island. And for a rookie tackle, he's in the top right with Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, and then you see Josh Simmons. That's ridiculous. I know we want Josh Simmons to be, the franchise cornerstone, but I didn't think it would happen this quickly. And already, he's a guy that you can just leave on an island. You don't need running back chip help often with him. He's just a set it and forget it left tackle who is going to be protecting Mahomes' blind side for the foreseeable future. And 3 weeks in, he's already proven it.
Well, Kyle, you mention it. With all of the things that have gone wrong for the Chiefs this year, with the offense continuing to struggle, the fact that we're not talking about the left tackle position is a massive positive. And I think if you could have gone back and told us this, at the draft, we would all be just, over the moon excited. And so Josh Simmons has been a massive positive. I thought Kingsley Suamataia played his best game as a pro against the Giants. And again, he didn't look elite or great, but it's just growing pains. It's the small stuff that he's getting better on a weekly basis, and so is Josh Simmons. And so when you get to week 10 or 11, these guys are going to be in midseason form. And so I think there are a lot of positives on the offensive line. Just looking at the offense, Tyquan Thornton looks like a legit dude at this point. He was a killer in that game. He basically put them in, either scored or put them at the goal line twice. And so to have someone like that with all of the wide receiver injuries, it's a massive positive.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit on the night shift Wednesday night. We knew what these edge rushers for the Giants presented. We know what type of problem it is. Obviously, we faced Jalen Carter the previous week, but those edge rushers are more of a problem in New York. You got Brian Burns, who's an established elite pass rusher, Abdul Carter on the other side, and then you got Kayvon Thibodeau, who's rotating in, who is also a very high draft pick as well. So he's no slouch in his own right. So as you said, Kingsley has there's going to be the hiccups, but I think he played pretty well last night. So yeah, there's definitely some positives to take away from the O-line's performance for sure.
Yeah, and Darcy, you mentioned it, like if you told us this before the season that Simmons would be this good and Suamata'i would look this good, I would have told you the Chiefs would be 3-0. Obviously, that's not the case, but just a sloppy game. But just looking at the early positives and what the Chiefs coaching staff and Brett Veach has done right is fix that left side of the line, and that gives me a lot of confidence moving forward in the season.
Well, and there's obviously some stuff that we all think needs to get corrected, and that's probably a topic for another video, but I think when you look at what the Chiefs do extremely well, Caden, you mentioned it in, I think, our first positives video of the season. The Chiefs' defense is still a championship caliber defense, and you've almost seen the shift the past 2 seasons that the Chiefs have gone from being a high-flying offensive unit to more of a defensive team. And yeah, the pass rush still needs some work, but you saw Chris Jones get to the quarterback, George Karlaftis, Omar Norman-Lott had 5 pressures in this game, Ashton Gilotti's snap count grew. There's a lot of positives you could take away from this defense that's incredibly young, and they're getting better.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I mean, that was another one of my positive takeaways was just these young guys for the Chiefs. I mean, you said it, they changed their identity to kind of a defensive team over the last couple of years. That's mainly due to being young. They went young, especially in the secondary. I mentioned Noah Williams. We saw Chris Roland Wallace come up with an interception last night. Rare sighting, but, he made a big play. So, yeah, just infusing some young talent into this team has been, I think, so instrumental in these championship runs over the last couple of years.
Well, I know that you both kind of were about to talk about it. Do you guys want to address the Brian Cook play over the past couple weeks?
Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, and Darcy, we were doing these videos, before the season, and one of my chief concerns was the secondary because they were young. Trent McDuffie was basically the leader in that secondary, and we talked about it a lot. Brian Cook was, middling to below average last year, and your guy Sterling Holmes said today he's the 6th best safety according to Pro Football Focus. That's a hell of a turnaround, and you'll take that all day. So good work by number 6. I got real nervous when he kind of left the game after landing on his neck in the end zone. I thought, oh, God, he had just gotten off to such a great start, and it's going to be taken away. But no, he returned. He's just been a lockdown safety back there, and that's not only good for him, but that's good for the secondary as a whole, but it's also good for Jaden Hicks, a young guy just kind of getting his first full year, with a full role on the defense. Brian Cook's emergence and or breakout, I don't know, maybe we'll call it that, but that's just going to help the defense as a whole.
Well, here's the thing. We're all concerned about the offense. They're missing their top 2 pass catchers. They struggled to put up 22 points against a Giants team that's probably going to be picking top 5. But I guess the one silver lining in this is that the Chiefs' defense is so good, they're going to keep the Chiefs in football games. I mean, just looking at, this statistic, which I think is overall the biggest stat over the past couple seasons, that since the beginning of the 2023 season, a span of 37 games, the Chiefs own the top scoring defense in the NFL at 18.3 points per game. KC has held the opposition to 20 or fewer points in a league best 27 of those games. That's 73%. And so when you've got a defense that is pitching late into games to make a cross-sport comparison, you're always going to have a chance to win. And especially with Patrick Mahomes, the hope is, the optimism in all of us is that hopefully the offense can figure it out with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid once you bring back some more talent?
Yeah, I think it's so interesting that, like you said, that those stats you just mentioned, they've been so good defensively, but everybody's like, oh man, the offense, what's going on with the offense? But yeah, I mean, as we've already said, they've changed their identity to basically a defensive team, and nobody in Kansas City likes that. I don't think everybody misses those those high flying offenses, but these players don't care about that. They want to win football games, especially Pat Mahomes and. I'm sure Pat would love to put up those numbers, 5,000 yards, 50 tuds again, but I know he cares about winning Super Bowls more than anything else. So that's always going to be priority number one.
Yeah, and all you can ask for from the defense is to give you a chance, and that's exactly what they're going to do week in and week out. Now, obviously, yeah, Darcy, you mentioned it. We'd like to see some improvements along the defensive line, especially in the pass rush. But another positive for the offense, and this is kind of one you kind of got to squint to see, but Tyquan Thornton just being the deep ball guy, it could pay dividends, especially for Mahomes. Let's not kid ourselves. The last year, 2 years probably, Mahomes throwing the ball deep just hasn't looked right, hasn't looked super accurate. I think with repetition, the more he throws it up to Tyquan Thornton, it just gets you back in that mode, so that when Worthy's back, when Rice is back, Mahomes is more used to throwing it down the field. Now, he's been a quarterback all his life, so maybe I'm reaching here, but the fact that, he said, F it, Tyquan's down there, I'm just going to launch it down there again, and then he was rewarded for it. That's going to pay dividends, I think, as the season moves along.
When I want to talk more about Patrick Mahomes and how he's played, and we'll do that right after this break. This video is sponsored by my friends over at DM Injury Law. Injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation, but time is critical. Rely on the experienced personal injury attorneys at DM Law, Kansas City and Missouri's top injury law firm. DM Law is a full-service personal injury practice supported by a large team of investigators, case managers, medical records specialists, and more. And best of all, you don't pay unless they win. DM Law operates on a contingency fee basis, meaning no fees unless they win your case. And they also provide free consultations. So if you've been injured, don't wait. You can contact DM Law today for a free consultation and learn how they can help you pursue the compensation you deserve. Let them handle the fight while you focus on healing. Hurt in a car wreck? Call Mike. Remember, Mike's got this. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement. Thanks to DM Injury Law for sponsoring this video. Huge thanks to the sponsors that have supported this channel all football season long. Now, again, the Chiefs started off their season rocky. Going 1-2 is not what any Chiefs fan really thought was going to happen. But one constant in every single game has been Patrick Mahomes. I think he's actually been playing some of his better football. Some of the guys around him just haven't really helped him out or done him any favors. And so what is your encouragement level in the play of Patrick Mahomes, at least what we've seen in the first couple weeks of the season?
Well, I'm very optimistic about Pat's performance and what, especially last night, because I talked about it a little bit on the Night Shift Wednesday, but I wanted to see this offense get some of these pass catchers involved, and I think we saw that a little bit the other night. Noah Gray specifically was one guy that I pointed out. He only had 3 catches for 17 yards, but that just opens up more things for everybody else. You have to make those guys at least be a threat out there on the field. If they know that you're not even looking for them, then they're no use for you, especially Noah Gray, somebody who we, like I said, we've invested a contract extension into. He's a guy that we probably see as the future tight end after Travis retires. I don't know that we have a plan in place, but he looks to be that guy. Juju Smith-Schuster, he kind of faded in the second half, but he started strong. And then I think Brashard Smith got involved in the screen game maybe once or twice too. So I'm very encouraged, and I think just to your point of Pat, I think that just eases everything for Pat. I think it makes it a lot easier for him to go through his reads and really know that he has, like I said, a threat anywhere on the field to really look to.
Yeah, and Mahomes didn't have the rushing yardage, but I'm going to count that as a positive because one, he wasn't really in harm's way. Now he did have one first down scramble that was negated by a penalty by 74, and you could kind of see the anguish on Mahomes' face after that run got called back. But I am totally all right with Mahomes rushing the ball less. I think he only had like 5 attempts for 2 yards technically. I am all right with him just not being in harm's way. It should be better. And another thing we saw was under center runs. And guess what? They worked. So more of that, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think that overall, there's a lot of positives coming out of this game, most of which are on the defensive side of the ball. But there's optimism that once guys come back in the wide receiver room, that Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to take this offense to another level. And so, yeah, the Chiefs were able to handle the Giants, escape New York on Sunday Night Football with a 22-9 victory. But I think that's all the time we have in this video. My final question for both of you is, where can the people find your stuff?
You can find me on The Take on Sports Radio 810 WHB Wednesday nights from 7 to 9, and then the night shift with Michael right after from 9 to 10.
Listen to me at Sports Radio 810, weekdays 2 to 6. I produce the program with Seren Petro. Find me on the night shift with Darcy and Caden as well.
I was going to say, for those of you that don't already know, we do the night shift on Sports Radio 810 WHB on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Hoping for a couple more hours over the course of the season, but from 9 to 10, we're going to be on there talking Chiefs. Stop by and listen if you've not already done so. So I appreciate you guys for watching this video. All of their stuff will be linked in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, go Chiefs.